so much encouraging in your presentation. Currently, our University of Salford, they had a funding for 1.2 million for a disaster-related project. And some of the academia, people from academia and from the agencies, they came to visit us in UK. But the situation they showed us there in front of everyone, they say everything is just disaster in Pakistan, right? So I was just thinking, like, how much do you collaborate with those universities? Because I know there is a disaster resilience center in Peshawar, right? In Peshawar University. I don't know which university do you belong. But I think, if you are doing this much and those people have nothing to show in that presentation, so why is that lack of collaboration between the universities or the agencies even together? Why someone don't try to fill those collaboration gaps? So what are your strategies to fill that gap to the collaboration?
Thank you. Who was presenting? I just missed that part.
There was the director of disaster resilience from University of Peshawar, and someone was from the government entity of disaster resilience.
NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority?
I thought from Pakistan.
Yes, from Pakistan.
Yeah, I think from National Disaster Resilience.
Center for Disaster in University of Peshawar.
Okay. Yes, I'm totally aware of Center of Disaster Management in University of Peshawar, which is a non-engineering related center. We are earthquake engineering center, mainly focusing on engineering, but also trying to move towards policy issues. I think this is a big problem generally, especially in Pakistan, but I would say generally also I see across the world also, that because of not having active liaison between different institutes, so we do face this challenge. Outreach, me as a director, is one of my priority. I came to this meeting, I don't want to mention some private thing, but I cancelled so many appointments and many things. I'm going to miss my master's class today also. Because I'm grateful to Dr. Salman who asked me and encouraged me to come, and I thought it is extremely important, and one of the main reasons for coming was actually to have connection and tell what we are doing. So I would blame generally nobody and everybody for not being in touch with each other. I as a director have reached across to Peshawar University, their Center of Excellence in Geology. And we did the first MOU, the University of we are the University of Engineering and Technology Peshawar. Then there is a Peshawar University. So Peshawar University was actually the mother institute from which in 1980 we got sort of separate identity. Since 1980 till 2012, I would say, there was no formal engagement, and we initiated, and they were, I'm grateful to them, that we signed an MOU. We don't have an MOU with them, but I think my suggestion would be to, for at least for different forums, that we must increase the frequency by holding such events and making exchange.
I would share your contact meetings with those people so that you can have this connection with each other.
I would love to do that. We have been collaborating with US universities, University of Urbana-Champaign, University of Buffalo. I have been in touch with California Geological Survey. Some of our work is also mentioned on their website. PolyU is a very, very recent addition to our collection. So I would love to.
One thing I want to add, what Dr. Samali said, that yes, we admit that we have a very weak linkage systems. Then there is another problem. I think communications professionals need to be trained. They need to be diversified, and they should also come out of their cocoon. Because we only believe in media coverage, we only believe in dissemination. I think we need to build a black network, which is really missing. And there's another thing which I think I would be highlighting, that ORIX, Office of Research and Innovation and Commercialization, are already in place in universities, but I really feel that that is really in offing stage. So I think the whole ecosystem needs to be, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. Shimano, for elaborating that. Ladies and gentlemen, do you believe that
Ladies and gentlemen, do you believe that? Steve has a question.
I've got several questions and some comments. So, Dr. Ali, your bridge codes and so I'm familiar with HA loading and HB loading, but not from 1937. Mine is from the 1980s. But I developed a earthquake specification when I was with Edmonton in Greece. So I want to share some information with you. Shamela, thank you. You've told me what ontology is. So I might quote you in something that I get to Zishan in a few months. And I want to use your web-based systems as well. So I want to get hold of you. Zena, when you were talking about what's happening in the UK, it's not common in the UK. So I've learnt a lot. I've learnt a lot today. And Raj, we're going to get together.
Yes.
We really are going to get together.
Yes.
That earthwork stuff on the A14, which is a 1.2 billion pound project.
Yes.
I love that.
You already-
I'm thinking.
You have to pass through
Yeah.
me.
That software is already being used by the Mota Angel.
We've
Mota Angel
I think
already
we've got
using.
some real challenges here, and I think I've got one word. Wow. That's my one word.
Technology is amazing and amazingly used.
And the company are going to be making a lot of progress using that software, which is already giving a lot of knowledge on sharing that. Anyway, any more questions, please? Yes.
Dr. Rashid Rehan is the Director of National Institute of Urban Infrastructure Planning.
Good morning and assalamu alaikum. First, I have to apologize to everyone because I was supposed to be here 2 days ago, but I couldn't because of some emergency problems within the family, some health issues, and I couldn't afford to come here. So my apologies for that. I have just a couple of comments. They were great presentations, of course, about the data, big data, clouds, etc. They are really going to help us in jumping several steps ahead and not necessarily have to follow the same path that other developed nations, and we could our developing pace could be accelerated. But of course, as a question, you asked a question, and the answer was that you are most concerned about the security and privacy. You said there's a lot of data available and what to do. I think in our context especially, because there's so much little awareness, we should always be thinking about what should not we do about that data, or what shouldn't be done to that data. So that's important. I wanted to comment Dr. Raj's presentation, and especially about the aspect that he started with the regeneration and the role of virtual reality modeling in that aspect. Unfortunately, what we have, you asked how do you develop and could you develop anywhere? Unfortunately, we can, and that's what we have been, the sprawl has been occurring at a tremendous pace. And one of the reasons is not only the lack of regulations, but also the lack of motivation of our policy and decision makers to do anything about the inner cities. I would characterize it as the Emperor Nero's thinking model. That you cannot develop it if you haven't first burnt it down, the whole thing. So it's a very cumbersome, and they avoid it. And then the next problem comes in, that how to engage all the stakeholders that you refer to as the public consultation, the people who are going to be impacted because of lack of literacy, poor understanding. These kind of tools, they can really help people, that some of these redevelopment, regeneration policies are going to help those stakeholders, whether they are the market people, they are the business owners, they are the residents of those societies. So in our context, it could be really very useful.
Yeah, I just try to add, that's the objective, my objective. Try to present some of the model generation that really going to be applicable in Pakistan context as well. And that's your comment is really the positive comment. And I hope we can customize according to the local constraint as well. And this is the future. If you don't want to adopt the new changing emerging technology, you will going to be lagging behind. And that's the reason you say that you're going to develop one thing and then another impact is coming after that one. As someone mentioned about our policymaker, they're just thinking only for 5 years. That's only their tenure. That is not the way. That is not the sustainable way. You need to think about 20, 50, 60 years. And that was one of the research project we're going to today present about. After the 2050, someone already starting, there will be no water in Pakistan. Shall we everybody immigrated some other places? This is not the solution. We need to look about some alternate source for that one. There will be just a lot of the, for here, I'm surprised when I'm talking about the water meter, some colleagues say that, oh, there is a water meter as well. We have never seen the water meter. Why should I have the water meter? Here the water is more than enough. But other side we say, no, there is no source of the water. Do we need to look about some harvesting, flood water harvesting? Some other country already adopted on that one, to look about that one. So I hope that will be going to be a little bit add up in the future, and I hope that will be helpful some of the case. Any more questions, please?
Yeah, just a thought on the being left behind, because I think that this is in all of our discussions on big data and smart data and IoT. I think the biggest at the heart of it, we have to put the most disadvantaged individuals, because I see this myself. Every week I have people that come to me because they have issues with engaging with government, their local government, because they do not have the skills, they do not have the accessibility, they don't have computers in their homes, they don't have Wi-Fi or broadband. We need to make sure that we are putting these people first and at the heart of every single thing that we do. So maybe this is, I was looking at the 3G and 4G coverage in Pakistan, and it's extensive. How do we enable the most marginalised people to access that? Because you can be in a very, very remote area, you will still have 4G or 3G, but you will not have the technology to access it. So we need to make sure that we are building that in, and also the skills that we need. But I also think that it's important that if you want to stay off-grid, you are enabled to stay off-grid. It's a choice. Whether you want to participate or not is an absolute choice. Because the other thing we know about big data is that big data is only as good as the algorithms that are used in that big data to generate the data. And we've already seen, because there are studies which are indicating that there can be racial biases, there can be gender biases, and again, we're dealing with the most marginalised of our communities, and we have to make sure that we are not widening the gap, because at the moment, it looks to me that we are widening this gap. We are not addressing the gap.
So what is your main question, please?
So my main question is, how do you ensure that you put the most disadvantaged people at the heart of every one of these projects, every one of these projects? Because if you are relying on existing infrastructure, you're not doing it. If you're relying on existing algorithms, you are not doing it. You have to make sure that you are doing something to address the current gap, because there is a gap now. How do we address the current gap in this too?
Okay, just based on your main question is how are you going to be engaged to the disadvantages community, right? I think this part, the major role will be played by the government. You need to create some sort of initiative, awareness, campaign, public event, to make sure that how you're going to engage for them. There is a lot of things are there. You can't go and do the re-educated for everyone, that one. But by the way, I just give you one simple example. Even you do or not do, by nature something is changing. Can you imagine 10 years before? What are the situation of the IT technology or Wi-Fi or anything in Pakistan if you have came 10 years before? How much this one? How many people are educated at that stage? Nobody was there. Now if you go and see on the disadvantage, every village, everywhere, they already have using their smartphone. Also they are not going to add that much technology, but they are already using on that one. So you have to give thanks, at least they have a capability to communicate. Every family from the rural area as well, I'm sure that even in Pakistan, they have one member outside their country doing some of the job, Middle East or somewhere else. And they have a better communication, better everything have done. That awareness has gone automatically. They nothing have to do for that one. So what the option is here, you have to believe as it is, by the natural, they can going to be, because of the impact on this one, they automatically going there. There is some expedite that one. We should have to play by some of the public, local government, to do about the awareness, to do about some of the increasing about the digitalization, advantage of that one, how they're going to improve their life, how much save their cost, all those benefits, you need to be shown for them until the people get aware and to get advantage about the new technologies.
So I just want to add one thing, Sarah, here, because I think that's again the domain where we think we need to bring in the social scientists into this conversation as well. And this is where the multidisciplinary research should be initiated as well, especially in this part of the world. I think if one takeaway should be for all of us would be to encourage that. And I'll just give you one example. If you pointed out one thing, security, privacy is another thing. The psychological aspects, and I'll give you the example of Amazon, for instance, because all of us maybe use Amazon in some one way or the other. So in Amazon's mission or one of their mission statements, it says to give you that serendipitous experience. Now, do we know why they added the word serendipity into all this? Because a lot of psychologists are asking them this question that so when I search a product and I see that, oh, I want to buy this book, and Amazon suggests me people who've seen this book have also seen that book, or people who have bought this book have also bought that book. So this is a recommendation engine which is based on an algorithm that they're using, right? So the psychologists are asking, where is that serendipity? Where is that my experience of encountering something all of a sudden that gives me that pleasure, that gives me that insight that that I've never experienced before? So the algorithms are making us go in a certain direction, which is like making me more like you, not taking that individuality out of me, right? So it's a very serious thing that we are not thinking about. So we are going wow with the technology, but you know the other aspect which needs a lot more consideration, and just this food for thought, that we are talking a lot about AI, artificial intelligence, and in this day and age, the most research is actually being done in the military on AI, so that you have automated weapons that would take that decision whether to shoot or not to shoot. I think it's an extremely scary world that we are entering, but are we thinking about it? So my takeaway would be, social scientists, you better step in, yeah?
Thank you, Dr. Zainab. Any other questions? Yes, Dr. Rashid.
Thank you very much. I hope I'm not taking too much time, but this is such an interesting and important thing, this current discussion, that I couldn't help but jumping in. I completely agree with you, especially about the continuously widening gap between the most disadvantaged people and in my, because I'm not a social scientist, you would be more aware, but one of the reasons of this continually widening, the accelerating pace, this is kind of a reinforcing loop, because the power and the impact of the social media that it has now. So the people who have access to social media, the policy makers, they can make noise. The policy makers, the decision makers, they listen to that noise and they take some decision, and then they are happy that they have, like some people have been satisfied. So those people who have not access to the social media, they go out completely out of the picture, and then this self-reinforcing loop just goes on. The social media users, they demand something, the decision makers only listen to them because the other people's voices are not being heard. And this is what I could give so many numerous examples. Our utility service providers, they are relying on social media to for awareness of their customers, etc. And those people who cannot read English, you could well imagine how much percentage of Pakistan's population would be able to read English and then go on to Facebook or WhatsApp groups and read the posts written in English. So this is a very important issue that we should seriously think about and do something, hopefully. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rashid. I'm not missing you anymore. Any more questions or comments? Okay, yes,
Just quick about that communication. You talk about the communication about the English language and other languages. The best important platform is the virtual media lately, or the movies on that one, what we have presented about. We don't need any language expert. Anybody can, from low to the high ranking, they can easily understand, like in movies. You need to do some sort of the action or that type of the problems showing the movies and express about the social media, Facebook and everywhere. And then anybody, you don't need to read the text, just look about the videos and then you can see about what is happening there. And immediately you can get response, a strike, when the protest will be immediately started. That's the people are doing. They're playing with movies, creating some movies, artificial movies or natural movies or whatever movies, and they try to make that type of the protest to awareness, engage more and more people. So that was the one of the way you can make more better engagement with everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Rashid. It was very excellent question answer session. Do you have any question? Okay, sorry. Yes, I have three good news for you. Number one, Dr. Rashid and Dr. Ali have the experience of system dynamics and project management and everything added to that. So they will be around and mentoring the four proposals that all of they are gathered here to make four proposals. One about smart infrastructure, one about system in process innovation, one about smart transportation, and of course the winning proposal will be the green building one. Yes, yes.
Center of Excellence.
Backseaters always win backseaters. Yes. This was the second good news. Yes, yes. And the third one is the working tea is ready. So energize yourself.